And here we go on our Thursday edition of the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. It is schedule release day, and we're going to look for some storylines on the Cleveland Browns schedule. Scott, you're first up. Give us a storyline on the Cleveland Browns schedule this season.
All right, so I'm really interested in seeing where these games land because that will determine, I guess, the impact they have. The fact that the Browns play the Falcons, the Saints, and the Texans this year is something, considering that, obviously the Texans where Deshaun Watson was originally, but then you have the other teams that the Browns were up against in trying to get Deshaun Watson, the Panthers. So, wait, were the Panthers in there?
Yeah, sure,
yeah. The Panthers, the Saints, and the Falcons, and the fact that they play all of them now. If that they land towards the end of the schedule, I think there's a good opportunity that Deshaun Watson could be on the field. We don't know if or when a suspension is coming, but you would expect that if those games land on the second half of the schedule, that could be kind of interesting. Maybe not from I think it's just from here's what you wanted and here's what the Browns got versus what they're left with, after the fact. Some of these teams had to go out and kind of get what was left over. And obviously they're the Panthers, you add in the whole Baker Mayfield saga. So just those three teams and just everybody kind of being involved in this offseason storyline that has gone on since Deshaun Watson was traded for. The fact that they're all on the Browns schedule this year is I think it's really interesting to me. Yeah,
the teams that Deshaun didn't choose, the ones that didn't want to pay Deshaun $230 million guaranteed. Yeah. That's kind of an underrated one, I think. That wasn't one that popped to the front of my mind, but you are right. Like all the teams that were in the sweepstakes, Mary Kay, they are on the Browns schedule. They're going to have to go against the guy they couldn't land.
Yeah, absolutely. It was number one on my list of things to look at for this as well. So fortunately, I came up with about 2 or 3 different ones, but I had that down too because all these teams. I mean, there really was a tremendous ripple effect on what is happening with them.
Mary Kay, give us our next storyline.
Okay, well, since we are going to be separating out Deshaun Watson playing against the Texans, I will go ahead and take that one. I had another one here that I kind of liked too, but Deshaun Watson is the story of the Cleveland Browns right now. So I'm going to stick with that theme, and this will be Deshaun Watson going back and playing his former team, the Texans, and that game is on the road, so it'll have a little bit less of pack a little bit less of a punch than if it was here, perhaps. But I still think him going back there will be a lot of emotion. There will be signs. It will be emotional for him. And then on top of that, this is just a story that's going to keep giving and giving and giving because the Browns obviously surrendered 6 draft picks to get Deshaun Watson. And this goes out like in perpetuity, like forever. They never have any more first round draft picks in the history of the franchise. Well, actually for the next 3 years, but that's a long time. So that, and then, the other 3 picks that they gave up, and they got back Deshaun and a 6th round pick. On top of that, they went back and did more business on draft day this year with the Texans, since they've got such a warm and fuzzy relationship between the two clubs now. So they went back, traded down from number 44. That's where the Texans picked up John Mechie, the wide receiver that the Browns would have taken at number 44 had they stayed there.
No, you know what? I agree with Mary Kay in that I think with this schedule coming out, Deshaun Watson is the biggest aspect of any storyline that we are going to talk about. So mine in general is just, I think the second the schedule comes out, it's going to be a ton of speculation of what it means for the Browns if he's suspended, particularly earlier in the year. Like, I think people are really going to be dissecting like those 6 games and if they have an early division game and is the division stacked in the back, because it's all going to be people trying to glean information, I think, about what the suspension might look like for him, what it might mean for the Browns, and all sorts of things like that. Hypothetically, what it would mean if he's there versus not there and where that point in the season might come.
So for me, I guess mine is also Deshaun Watson related, as you would expect, but it's more about like who Deshaun Watson could potentially go against. So the Browns face some really like either just kind of meh or like really bad quarterback situations. But then on the flip side, they face Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Tom Brady. They'll have Joe Burrow twice and Lamar Jackson twice. That's a pretty good group of quarterbacks that you've got to go against in those games. And I don't know if I'm forgetting anybody, but those are, if we did the quarterback draft, or if we went back and listened to the quarterback draft that we did, all of those guys went pretty high. So I'm excited to see the Browns go against those guys, because the Browns, assuming Watson is playing, have a quarterback. And I actually think this is the first time, maybe since Bernie Kosar, that you could say this. The Browns have a quarterback that can actually like go toe to toe with these elite level quarterbacks and compete with them just game to game.